What's up, guys? How you been? I've been good. I'm trying not to get sick again. I was recently in a concert, and like I think half the people there were sick, so I'm hoping I don't get sick again. So today we're going to talk about Shangaf Oud Tonka. Look at the bottle right there. So this bottle is a beautiful turquoise. I think this is called turquoise. So this turquoise bottle right here with a gold top, and it has this textured pillow like textured on the back, little X's. It's a very simple bottle. It's very nice. This is by Swiss Arabian. This was released in August 2024, so it's a fairly new release. This is everywhere when it was released. All the Swiss Arabian ones that look like this have been like everywhere recently, or back then when it was released, it was everywhere. So let's do a spray. We're gonna talk about what this is supposed to be. Did you see that? Boop, boop. I can taste that. So Jesus, I sprayed that so much I can taste it. This is supposed to be a dupe of BDK's Velvet Tonka, and a lot of people say it's pretty close to that. I don't have that, so I can't compare it. So I'll be honest with you guys. When I started this review, I already took notes, and I already have to scrap the notes I took because I had written in my notes that I could not sense the almond in this, and now when I smell it now, all I'm sensing is almond. Either this evolved since I first started using it, so I did the wear test on this last week, and I wrote all my notes, and now I'm doing the review this week. So either this evolved in that week, and now the almond is a lot more prevalent, or I'm much more sensitive to it, and I can smell it now. So right now, as I'm smelling it, it kind of smells like a smoky almond. Smoky, spicy almond. That's kind of like what I'm getting here. It's not super sweet. It's softly sweet. Very almondy. Slightly smoky, slightly spicy. Very nice. I really like this. It kind of reminds me of baklava. It's very, very good. I really like this a lot. It smells very gourmandy, but also just like vanilla toffee, it's not a gourmandy that makes you feel like it leans feminine or leans masculine or anything like that. It's like an uncommon gourmand because it's not leaning strictly feminine. It's not leaning strictly one way or the other. It just leans completely unisex, and it's just saying, this is the type of scent that I'm giving you. I'm not gonna direct you one way or another. It has elements in it that kind of pulls it towards the middle, which is, I think, that smokiness and that bitterness there. It's really good. I really like this a lot. And I am a sucker. For almond. And this is giving me that almond right now, and I'm really enjoying that. The consensus online, though, people say that they get almond with floral notes. I don't really get that floral note. I get smokiness, but I don't know where that's coming from. So let's look at the notes and see where that smokiness is coming from. The top notes for this are almond, period. The middle notes for this are Tunisian orange blossom, cinnamon, Turkish rose. The base notes for this are tonka bean, vanilla, and amberwood. I don't know what would give me a sense of smokiness here. I don't think anything would give me a sense of smokiness here. Maybe I'm getting that from the cinnamon and the amberwood together. It kind of gives me that warmth which my brain might be interpreting as slightly smoky because there's a lot of warmth there. But honestly, it smells really good to me. It smells really deliciously almondy with some warmth, with a slight sense of smokiness. Or maybe the smokiness is there and they just didn't list it in their notes. So online, this has a 4.22 out of 5 with 773 votes. It's pretty popular for the time it's been around. It's only been around for about 7 months. It was released in August 2024, so it's already March, so it's only been around for 7 months, so it's pretty popular and has pretty good ratings. Based on my research online, I looked at the top 3 most repeated positive critiques and the most repeated negative critiques. I'm going to tell you what those are. In terms of the positive, people say that it has excellent performance for price. People say that it's well balanced without being excessively sugary. And they say that it's very versatile. You can use it in different occasions. And that's all 100% correct. This is extremely versatile. I've used it at work, I've used it at home, and I've used it to go out. And all three, it never stood out as being like out of the ordinary or strange. So it's really good. In terms of negatives, what people said the most is that the initial almond can feel a little synthetic. I think that's true for a lot of almond. I think when you get almond in scents, what you mostly get is almond extracty notes, which kind of leans like candy almond more than anything else. I don't think I've ever gotten a scent that smells like a fresh almond versus a almond extracty almond. You know what I mean? If I ever get that, I'll let you know, but I've never gotten a scent that smells like a fresh almond. And that it's less complex than the original, and then finally that the rose note kind of fades away too quickly. Those are the 3 negatives on this. The rose note I actually don't perceive at all. Not really. Maybe in the background. Maybe kind of in the background. If I kind of hunt for it, I can get it. If I close my eyes, if I think about it, maybe I can get it, but not really. Like, I'm really hunting for it to be able to tell you that it's there. But otherwise, I don't think it's super present. Not really. Now I'm going to read to you some reviews that I found interesting. So the first one is from Celine at Fragrantica. Celine said, "It took me almost a year to like this fragrance. At first, it was Jergens original body lotion with some kind of unrelenting spice. Plastic bottle smell included. I sprayed it out, let it sit, tried it over and over, a spray here, a spray there. It was so thick and spicy, I just couldn't handle it. I finally put it up on my Mercari. Well, just the other day, as I was organizing my declutters, the beautiful turquoise box was just calling my name and I tried it again. One last chance. And it smelled amazing. Everything was suddenly melted into this cozy, cocooning, musky, powdery, slightly fruity almond frosting. I don't know what happened, but I've been wearing it for 3 days straight and it's no longer up for sale. I have never needed to wait this long to enjoy an Arabian fragrance, but I'm glad I was patient with it." I do get that musk. That musk is definitely there. Vernafleur, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Vernafleur says, "Pretty straightforward. This smells like sugar cookie dough with almonds in it. The cinnamon provides a little warmth, and the rose, while not strong, gives it a slight powdery scent. She is a strong perfume though, definitely not something you want to douse yourself in unless you're trying to give everyone within the same room as you a migraine. 1000 gourmand. I really don't get much tonka bean out of this, if that's what you're expecting to be a very profound note." Lynn Savvy says, "I don't want to be the person out when I say this. I literally hate it. I'm so sorry. I wanted to love it. I tried really hard. This was a blind buy for me because I was so sure it was going to be a winner. Unfortunately, it will run me out of the house. Opens very sharp bitter almond to my nose. Then I'm hit with rose and orange blossom. I hate rose. It always manages to smell outdated and vintage in a bad way. I only purchased this because others have mentioned it that it was barely noticeable. I guess if you dislike something so profoundly that you can sense it in the stratosphere. It does dry down to a more powdery sweet vanilla almond with touches of cinnamon and a warm tonka. Unfortunately, the sharpness from the opening never leaves, only dries down a bit. If you have ever really taken in the scent of the foam they use in a car wash, you realize that that's what it smells like and never unsmell it. This stuff is potent. If you get it on your skin, prepare to scrub with an industrial cleaner because dang. 10/10 for lasting power and sillage. 110 for its scent. This is much more of a nighttime scent. Kind of hard to just reach for this and go. Would be suited for a fall, winter date night. Slightly headache inducing. I do realize that these things are completely subjective. According to everybody, this is a very strong scent, which I completely agree with. Now that this has dried down a little bit, I can tell you about what my experience was for dry down. But I'll be honest with you, that has changed a little bit. Because when I wore it originally, I wore it for 2 days. And to me, it just dried down to a sweet, powdery scent. Kind of like musky and slightly sweet. But now I can tell that almond is there, but that musk is definitely there. This turns into like a musky almond, almost like an almond scented shampoo or conditioner or something around those lines. It's not super gourmand. It's actually not really gourmand at all. I don't think this turns into a gourmandy anything. It's just like a sweet but not gourmand almond shampoo. That's the vibes that I get from this. It's slightly powdery, which gives that shampoo vibe, and slightly musky, which also gives that shampoo vibe. And the almond will be the scent of the shampoo, and that's it. The sweetness is just adding to that almondiness. That's what I get from this. Nothing really screams gourmand to me in this scent once it dries down. The initial spray, 100% gourmand. Dries down, gourmand gone, honestly, to me. So keep in mind that to me, this turns very different on dry down. This is much less of a gourmandy scent on dry down versus this one, which is considerably more gourmandy than this one. In terms of protection, it is pretty strong. In terms of the first initial spray, it'll protect pretty strongly. It'll protect about 4 feet. It's not a room filler, but it protects enough that people will notice you if you're around. It's a strong bubble. After about 3 to 8 hours, it'll be about 1 foot bubble, maybe turn into skin scent after maybe 5 hours. And it'll stay on your skin forever. And it'll stay on your clothes forever. It needs to be washed off. This is not something that'll fade on its own. Finally, this is, I think, something that would be good for anybody who wants to use it as an everyday scent. This is a good everyday scent. This is not something that I think would be just for winter. This is not something that would be just for spring. I think this could be used almost any time. You just have to be careful not to overspray it, to not choke out a room. This is a strange scent. And I think the hardest part of this is that it changes so much. You have to decide whether you like the initial scent or the lasting scent. If you like the lasting scent, the one that dries down, then that's good, because the initial scent, the one that I really, really like, doesn't really last that long. So that's something you have to keep in mind. I think this would appeal the most to an older crowd, like a 30 plus crowd, because it is more sophisticated and it ends up a little bit powdery. So that's the type of vibe that I'm getting for this. I'm getting someone that has their stuff together, someone who knows what they like, things like that. This does not seem that playful. This does not seem that youthful to me. This seems more mature. This seems more sophisticated. This seems more refined than your typical gourmandy, even though this is not gourmandy at the end. That's the kind of vibe I'm going for. That's my final thoughts. This is a great scent, just not something that I would classify as a gourmand in the end. So if you're going into this thinking that it will be a gourmand, I would think twice about it. I would get a sample maybe and think again. What do I rate this? I would rate this an 8 for scent profile, a 10 for projection, a 10 for longevity. This lasts quite a bit. This projects great for what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a room filler. It's supposed to be an intimate set. So I think it's great for that. So overall, I would give it a 9. I think it's pretty decent. I think this would be a great everyday scent, or a great signature scent if that's what you're going for. If you like powdery, almondy scent and want to smell clean, this would be a very good scent for that. This would be a good signature scent. This is something that you could pull off and people would be able to recognize you. So this would be a good for that. What are your thoughts? Have you tried this out? Have you heard of this? Let me know what you guys think. Remember that my favorite part about making videos is talking to you guys. Remember, a sense is subjective. What I like isn't necessarily what you like. Remember to always smell your best. See ya.